can see here, we're on Season 4 of the Turn 7 Racing GT3 Championship, and we are live from Road Atlanta. Joining me in the studio tonight, as I said before, is Mr. Alan Day. The configuration is a full course here in the USA. Brazelton is the city. The track length is 4.06 kilometres. Temperature is 20 degrees Celsius. Altitude is 291 metres off sea level. 54% humidity here this morning at Road Atlanta with a 10 km per hour wind. And this broadcast is brought to you in partnership with roadrallyrace.co.uk. Please check him out for all your summer racing components and needs, and you get an exclusive 10% discount by entering exclamation mark track in the chat. So the guys are out on track just now, finishing their practice sessions.
You're being hosted.
Thank you very much for the host there. I'm not sure who that was. But yeah, thanks very much. Yes, guys, so joining me in the studio tonight is Mr. Alan Day. You'll probably remember him from 2 seasons ago, and he was racing last season in the championship. Good evening, Alan.
Good evening, Colin.
You excited to be back in the commentary box?
Well, Lockie, it's a little bit disappointing that I can't be on the grid for this season, but if you can't be on the grid, the next best thing you can always do is always watch the amazing talent that we have across here at Turn 7 Racing.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this season kicking off. I think we're expecting around 50 to 53 drivers on the grid tonight, Alan, so it's going to be a busy Road Atlanta here for our 90-minute race.
Yeah, Road Atlanta is a very, very popular track for a good amount of drivers. Located in the United States of America and Basildon. Road Atlanta, length of 0.09 kilometers, only 12 turns, but while it might be a short lap, it's definitely a very big challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenging track, especially coming off the start-finish line straight into turn 1, Alan, and then you go up that hill that's completely blind at the top. How these drivers do this is beyond me. I do know, speaking to someone before who is a pro driver in real life, that it's quite daunting the first time that you actually do it. So yeah, I can imagine what it would be like. It's the line that I always seem to never get perfect every lap. I get it right, but not perfect every lap, and these guys will be looking to nail it every single lap tonight. Lots of new drivers as well this season, Alan.
Yeah, a lot of new drivers, some returning drivers as well. We've got returning drivers from last season, including the likes of Mikel Bouquet. We've got Paul Carey. We've got Jorge Pinheiro as well. We've got some returning drivers that wasn't driving last season, including Colin D. Campbell in the 71 Pennzoil BMW M4, which, bear in mind, this is no longer a prototype car because he has now been officially released fully to the public's eyes, so it's no longer a prototype car, but it's still a great car nevertheless. And it does seem very, very good at the moment, GT3.
Yeah, exactly, Alan. I've got to agree, it is quite strong, especially here at Road Atlanta as well. It's one of the stronger cars, I would say, here. Have you got any favourite cars from this season? Have you drove any yet? Have you drove the new Porsche?
I've driven the Porsche. Strangely enough, I don't seem to be quite getting along with it quite as much, I don't think. I think it's been more of where, I've been getting a little bit more used to the Mercedes. I drove it, obviously, during the second half of last season. Very quickly got to grips with it, including getting a podium finish in the pro class on my first time trying. And during that race, yes, it was driving on the Nürburgring Nordschleife, but at the exact same time, I was having to start towards the back of the grid, having been not allowed to do qualifying because I obviously changed cars. So So like the Porsche does seem very powerful. It's always going to be a very good car, I would expect. But it's definitely got some very stiff competition, and I think the balance in performance within the GT3 class kind of means that pretty much you can drive any car that you wish.
Yeah, I've got to agree. They're all really, really close. Obviously, you get the cars that suit tracks better than others. But yeah, going on that though, there's really not much splitting these cars on BOP at all now. Alan, I've got to totally agree with you on that. They're all pretty much bang on with each other. It's good to see the two. You know, we've got almost one of every car in here. We've got lots of Porsches naturally because, you know, it's just been released this season. Porsche's just put up their car for the GT3 Championship this season, so it's natural that people will choose it. So yeah, we do have a lot of Porsches on the grid, but we've got some Mercedes, we've got some Audis as well, and Ferraris, and you know, as you can see there, the Lamborghini of Christopher McDuff going up over the crest of the hill there. So yeah, it's, you know, it's a very, very interesting lineup of cars we've got here at the T7R Championship this season. Certainly a good variety, and it's going to be an interesting season to watch all these guys driving their cars as fast as they possibly can. And Robert Taylor, surprisingly, this season has went for the Mercedes-Benz AMG.
Yeah, it definitely does seem very intriguing. He's obviously seen something in the car that he believes that the Mercedes is possibly the strongest car out of all the GT3 cars. That doesn't mean that it is the strongest car. Like I said earlier on, you know, it does seem like that the balance of performance has been brought pretty much all of the GT3 cars very close together. It has. So I don't think there is a shout out car that is ahead of everything else. I think it kind of goes down a little bit more to what car suits your driving style the most, because when you look at the Porsche, which is brand new on the service, so most drivers will probably still be getting used to the Porsche, the Mercedes AMG GT3, and also the BMW M4. All three cars will probably suit very different driving styles, much like, say, for example, the Audi will suit a very different driving style. So it's going to be a matter of, you know, what car suits your driving style, and learn its characteristics, and then pretty much go from there and just try and do the best you can, because that is how close the competition is amongst these cars.
Yeah, and let's just have a little rundown of the classes for this season as well, Alan, because we have Pro, obviously, and we have a new class, Pro Am, and then we've got Am as well. And we've also got EV, which is evaluation. These are new drivers that are entering the championship, and they are the light coloured blue, as you can see at the top of your screens there, guys. Drivers that are now entering the T7R go through 2 evaluation races. 9 times out of 10 these are done pre-season. However, these guys missed them for whatever reason, or were late in getting their entries in, so they get evaluated in their first races of the championship. Now, one of the drivers has only got 1 to do, the rest have 2. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what class these guys come out on. But as well as that, we do have the ARM drivers, who were supposed to have a separate race night on the Friday night, but we brought them on board onto the main race night due to the lack of ARM drivers, which is the first time ever here at GT3 and Turn 7 race. The ARM category is normally the strongest category, but the Pro-Am seems to be seems to be the strongest category this season, Alan.
Yeah, like I would definitely say, that's actually probably a first time that there is more pro drivers than there are amateur drivers this season. I normally have seen in each season that there are more amateur drivers than there are pro drivers. Ultimately, because this championship does seem to draw in a large amount of amateur drivers because of how welcoming that the whole entire Turn 7 racing community is. So it, you know, and it is great that that a community such as this is able to do such a thing. You know, like this welcomed me in with open arms when I originally join the Turn 7 racing community, as well as other drivers. So it's especially nice to see that sort of thing, you know. And I can see that all of the drivers, you know, like we've seen some drivers grow through the Turn 7 racing community and basically just gotten better and better each season, you know, to where they are now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can see a lot of mistakes being made in this pre-qualifying practice session here. The track is absolutely ram-packed full right now. So yeah, every driver almost out on track trying to take advantage of the last few minutes of the practice session. It is a 55-minute practice session before we head into a 30-minute open qualifier, which is going to be interesting with this amount of cars, Alan.
Yeah, like, and with this being a short track, it's definitely not going to be easy, particularly during qualifying. You know, you want to be in some space, but you also want to be able to pick a drive from somebody if you can. So it's going to be a matter of, can you gain that little bit of momentum going across the back straight to that final chicane at the 10A and 10B. But at the same time, because obviously if you get too near, you then have to drop back, which then effectively ruins your lap anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. You know, like, it's going to be interesting to see the start of the race as well. Now, the drivers do know the amount of other drivers on the grid, obviously, and we do have drivers of all levels here at Turn 7 Racing GT3 Championships, and they are aware of that as well. So I'm hoping we get a really, really clean start, and, you know, everyone gets off to a good first 2-3 laps, and, you know, everyone settles into the race as well. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out, Alan, here as well, with being so busy. I mean, I think you know, the last cars will probably get the green light coming up over the crest of the hill below the bridge, just before the start finish line. It's a pretty bad place to start the race.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be easy for anybody. Like, I've seen some official races where drivers have actually had incidences with one another on the crest of the hill before the race has even started. So hopefully none of that does actually happen tonight. All the drivers that we've got here have got vast majority of experience around each other. But I'm very certain that, you know, given that it's the first round of the season, everybody just wants to get off to a good start. They don't want to be making any mistakes. So, you know, you've got to think about what might be going through drivers' minds. Some drivers may want to try and get off to a very good start, but they also don't want to be falling behind, especially on the first round of the season.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, guys, just a few minutes left of this practice session here tonight at the T7R GT3 Pro Am Championship, live from Road Atlanta in the US of A. It's early morning here in Road Atlanta. I think it is, yeah, it's only 7:48 a.m. So the track temps are fairly cool. 21 degrees Celsius actually, so it should be a nice track out there for them as well, Alan, for today's race.
Yeah, like, it's quite cool at the moment. So the track temperature is only 21 degrees Celsius if that is what you calculate your track temperature at. But I do expect the track temperature to come up as the session progresses. So by the start of the race, which will be in another possibly about another 45 minutes roughly, you're probably looking at the track temperature could possibly be around about 23, 24. So it will rise up gradually as the session progresses. It might get even higher as we come to the end of today's race.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting to see how the temperatures do pan out over the session as well. Stephen McCafferty there as well, number 667. Nice to see him in a GT3 championship. He's normally a GTE driver, Alan, so this will be his first championship in that Ferrari. Although he's running a Turn 7 racing livery, that's because he doesn't really have a livery and he wanted to race one of ours. He's actually not racing in our... And for the team in this championship, he wanted to leave it open, so yeah. He'll probably sort our livery out soon over the next couple of weeks, but he's certainly looking fairly decent out there. It's very nice to have him. He's sitting in P... Oh, let's not say where the guys are sitting in practice session, actually. We'll leave that for qualifying and see how that comes over at the end of qualifying.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very, very interesting. We've only got 4 minutes until this evening's first qualifying session of a brand new season gets underway. So everybody will be very, very busy. Drivers will be wanting to get an early lap in to set a benchmark. But of course, as well, they don't want to be getting into any mistakes.
Ola Sankovic as well making a return for this season, which is good to see. He has changed cars as well. He's came away from, I'm sure it was a Mercedes-Benz AMG he was racing last season. He's changed to the brand spanking new Porsche, and he's also driving for STR Tech Academy, which is good to see. It's always good to see drivers progressing through the teams and stuff as well through the championships. Ola's a really, really strong driver. Very, very clean. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he does this season in that new Porsche GT3.
Yeah, of course, Ola Sankovic partnered with another driver who is sadly not going to be with us for this season. You know, so he's obviously moved to another team for this season, being STR Tech, a very well-known team within the Turn 7 racing community, being led by Robert Taylor, a team that tends to bring up amateur drivers to being some of the best drivers possibly I've seen personally on the grid. Obviously, Alan Malles has been a driver with STR Tech for a little while and has only grown in experience and been getting better and better as the seasons have progressed, itself especially. So the team as a whole has a lot to be proud of bringing up these drivers to become the drivers that they are today. So Ola Sankovic obviously making the move to STR Tech is definitely like I would personally say is definitely made the right move looking into the future.
Yeah, I mean, Alan's coming along really, really well. Last season, you know, he was subject to a few incidents that wasn't really his fault. You know, he was getting caught up in a few things. But it'll be interesting to see just how far he's came on this season as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Alan out on track. Very, very clean driver. Very cautious as well. And that is the practice session now over, guys. We head into qualifying as the drivers start leaving the pits. See them coming down through the S's there for the first time. We will get this up. Qualifying mode should automatically up. Come on. Don't know why it's not. No idea. Anyway. Let's get on the track with these drivers as they're going round for their warm-up laps. Any favourites here today, Alan?
Well, given it's a brand new season, it's very, very difficult to actually see who could possibly get the first pole of the season. It's going to be very, very difficult, I will say. So we're going to have to wait and see what we can happen. If I have to give a shout out now to anybody in particular, I will probably give it to returning Vulcan sim racing driver Felipe Gosha to possibly try and get pole position for the first round. To come back this season. Wasn't able to do a few races during last season, obviously because of his commitments, obviously, you know, having a job as well as being in a highly competitive team as Vulcan Sim Racing. You know, he does show that he's a very highly competitive, as he's shown throughout last season. He's a driver that never gives up, and he's very, very talented.
Yeah, he's very, very competitive. Felipe Gosha, he did do well last season. It was a shame that he couldn't make all the races. That's obviously due to private life commitments and stuff as well. So, but yeah, you know, he's a very strong driver. It's going to be interesting to see where he finishes this season as well. But just to let the viewers know right now, guys, the numbers of the cars that you see are numbered as per their finishing positions last season. Number 1, 2 and 3 was first, second and third in the Pro Championship last season, and numbers 01, 02, 03, 04 and 05 are the ones that were first to fifth in the ARM category last season, which have been moved up into Pro. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these guys pan out this season as well, being just moved up into Pro, Alan.
Yeah, like obviously there's a very high amount of competition for some of these drivers moving up from their class last season to the class that they are in. There are some drivers that were amateur last season now being put into the Pro-Am class. So they'll probably be a little bit used to seeing some of the competition that they've got around them being in the same class. But it doesn't mean that one driver or another cannot race together because they're not in the same class. If we just bring on the fact of about where drivers score points based on their overall finishing position and not their finishing position in class. So if we bring up, let's say for example, one driver is an amateur class, they're ahead of a Pro-Am class. They can fight each other as much as they wish, and if the amateur driver finishes ahead of the Pro-Am class driver, they score a point for that overall.
Yeah, exactly. And a grid is as big as this as well, with 50 odd cars out there on track. It's all the more important to be up there and in the scoring positions, Alan, as well, with our new point system for this season. Not to mention as well was the new license class system that we have. T7R have developed their own license system, and this is to allow the drivers to race against each other in a more competitive way. And this is the first season we've introduced it. It is running in the background as we speak right now. The guys are scored on their finishing positions as well as incidents. and any disputes that may be made against them as well. So they can be moved up and down the pro-am and am ladder through their incidents and finishing positions. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see after a season or two how that works out, because each driver only ever needs to be evaluated once, Alan, in Turn 7 racing now. And once they're evaluated, that's the class, and it's up to them basically to either move up, stay where they are, or move down.
Yeah, exactly. Like, obviously, that is very, very different to your typical iRacing license. So what you score, obviously, in the Turn 7 Racing Championship is very, very different to what you obviously get in what you get usually. So obviously, the two are going to be kept separate, but should allow some very safe racing altogether.
Yeah, and a prize up for grabs as well from our official sponsor, Mr. Road Rally Race, again this season for the cleanest driver. Wonder who will grab that this season. Yuka Ahayo from last season was actually the winner of that, who's not with us this season, unfortunately, due to work commitments, but he's hoping to return the season after. So it'll be a pleasure to have him back when he's ready to come back. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting tonight, Alan, to see what happens here. As you can see, the times are already starting on the board. Not sure why a 1:24.960 is up there on pole position.
No, that does seem very, very weird. Obviously, there is some sort of technicality.
Yep. We'll get that reloaded. Yeah, it's still saying it. Not sure why he's up there with that. Maybe he's the only one to put in an actual lap. Maybe there's off-tracks involved in everyone else's. I don't know why that's like that. Absolutely no idea, not unless it's picked up the time wrong. Can you check it on iRacing, mate, to see if that's right enough?
It's showing to me that the pole sitter is currently a 1:18.2 sent by car number 96, which is Thomas Cord was it?
Right,
I might be doing something after that, right?
Yeah, so it's just gave us the wrong time then.
Yeah.
Interesting. So the software is showing us the wrong times, guys, so I do apologise for that. There's not really much I can do about that. I'm not sure why it's giving us that time, but it is. Oh, and a Ferrari just in the background there, just spinning out over the crest there, Alan. That's what we were talking about earlier. If you get your line wrong, going up over there, the car goes really, really, really light and just leaves you. So it's really important that you get your line bang on going up over that crest into turn 2 and 3 here at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, so it's showing us a very difficult track. There are already a few cars that have already requested tows and have been granted, so they will no longer be allowed to take part in the session. These cars include cars number 29, who has just requested a tow, which is Robert O'Dam's. Johan Dobat's car number 18 has also requested a tow.
So a couple of cars out of qualifying as well now then, Alan?
Exactly.
Have they set times though?
Just give me one moment. They have set times, but they don't look awfully quick.
Yeah, that's interesting, that, just now. So yeah, we'll give you a quick rundown of what's happening so far, guys. We'll give you the top 20. Thomas Kardowicz, Tom Mayle, Philippe Gosha, Bjorn Arslag, Ales Dumbeck, de Burnett. I'll need to get used to these new names. Jordan Wiseby, Mikael Biquet, Christopher McDuff in 8th, Dara Dresdens in 10th, Robert Taylor in 10th, Jonas Seger in 11th, Simon Ball 12th, Sandro Miller 13th, Jonas Greiner in 14th, Jetson Ardrestens 15th, 16th, Matt Moyeister 17th, Eero Forsblom, Paul Kerry's in 18th, and Colin D. Campbell is in 19th. Johan Helberov is in the 20 on the grid so far. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. There's not much at all split in the top 20, Alan. Not much at all. About a second, I would say. The time is updated on my end for Thomas Kardowzik of a 118.25, but it's not updated on the leaderboard. Oh, it's last time, that's why. Duh. Sorry, guys. Oh, there's the best times up now. I do apologise, it's been a few weeks. I was wondering what was going on there.
Oh, there's a little bit of a crash at the exit of turn 5. That looks like one of the turn 7 racing Lamborghinis that's just gone off track. That will be Ian McDuff, who's just crashed into the wall. One of the new drivers in. Father to, I believe, Christopher McDuff. And also they are teammates for this season.
Yeah, father and son team there, Alan. Be interesting to see how these guys finish off in the team championship standings at the end of the season. Alan Mullis there, that we were speaking about before qualifying. He's currently sitting P42 on the grid, and he's Mercedes-Benz from Abelstoke, I'm sure the team is. STR Tech Academy or Abelstoke, can't remember which one it is. It's one of the two. I think it's Abelstoke. Currently on board right now with Alan as well right now as he goes around turn 1 up over the crest there. Jump onto the nose cam and just see how much of a drop this section is. It's quite a massive drop going down that hill through the S's there, Alan, and then going into this very awkward corner. If you hit that curb on the inside a little bit too hard, it bounces you out onto the outside curb, which then throws you into the tyre wall, just waiting there to catch you. Someone is off there, and the 2 cars off on the left hand side there as we're going around in a lap here with Alan Mullis as he's trying to better his fastest time. There's actually no McLarens in this season, Kevin. And welcome along everyone watching on the live broadcast there on Twitch. It's great that you are all here. See me yourself on YouTube watching back after the race. Please don't forget to hit subscribe to keep up to date with what our content if you want to be a part of any of our championships here at Turn 7 Racing. If you're on YouTube, look down below, you'll see our Discord link. And if you're live on Twitch right now, !_ Discord in the chat. We'll get you joined up to our Discord. Paul Kerry coming down through the S's. He's currently sitting 19th right now in his Audi R8. So, is there anyone in chat got a favourite driver racing in this championship tonight? Is there anyone that you are rooting for on the championship? Guys, let us know your favourite driver. I do know most of the drivers do watch this broadcast back, so make sure you do give them a little shout on the stream. Urbix says Matt Bickerton for him. Good stuff, Urbix. Matt's a seasoned driver here now at Turn 7 Racing as well, so it'll be interesting to see where he finishes up this season. Stephen McCafferty currently dropped. He was 17th there on the grid. He's now down to P25 as everyone is starting to get their final lap times in.
Yeah, just a little over 10 minutes ago, and we're still getting in a few requests to tow, including one car who had already requested a tow during this session, so I don't have an idea why they were on track, given that it's the first race of the season, so the rules should be fresh in their minds, but maybe that another driver's forgotten a rule or something. A couple of drivers have been caught out on track after requesting tows, and a couple of them actually towing without towing granted as well.
Yeah, well, obviously, race control will keep a note of that, Alan, and you know, it'll be investigated after the race tonight, and we'll see how that goes. You know, Stephen McCafferty looks like if he's on a fairly decent lap here just now, though. I think he crosses the finish line there, 1:18.02 there. I'm sure that was. I'm sure it was. No, it was a 1:19.72. It was actually a 1:20.05. His last lap. I do apologise about that, guys. You picked the Porsche and you hate it. To be honest, mate, I think it's going to take a couple of weeks till the setup companies get their head around the Porsche. You know, there's I don't particularly like the way any of them have set the car up this week so far yet, to be totally honest. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that produces throughout the season. Anyway, getting back to the action on the track here right now, Robert Taylor in the Mercedes-Benz there, guys, who is currently sitting in 15th place on the grid. Robert, a very, very strong driver in the championships here at Turn 7 Racing, Alan. He's self-confessed he's not the strongest qualifier, but you put him in a race situation and tactics, he certainly shines through a little bit. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays this race out here today. We just moved up to P12 actually there. I think P12 with a 1:18.964, which is a new fastest lap here at the open qualifying session for Road Atlanta. T7R round 1 of the championship. You can see the heat in the background there rising up off the track. I'm not sure you'll be able to see it on the broadcast there, but it certainly looks like if it's heating up out there, Alan.
Yeah, I'll just have another look at the temperatures. The temperatures are still the same as they were at the end of practice. But it does seem like that maybe as the track is gripping up and more drivers are going out and doing laps, that the track temperature may start to increase shortly, possibly.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Colin D. Campbell there is currently sitting in 20th position on the grid. Again, Colin is another one who isn't a fan of qualifying, I would say, and he certainly shines through in the race situations as well. Colin's a very, very strong, clean driver. Very proud to have him here at Turn 7 Racing. He is racing for the Gold team this season. He's the only driver in the Gold team. Currently, he doesn't have the team livery, as it's not been made yet, because, yeah. Because, yeah. But it is in the process of getting made, so he will be in a new livery for next week. Looking forward to see how Colin does in this season as well. He's quite strong in GT3, Colin, so it'll be interesting to see how he finishes today and obviously for the rest of the season as well. Jeffrey Como here as well. Very strong driver there from the Next Level Racing team. Sitting up currently on 3rd position on the pole. No number able to be seen on his car. That'll need to get flagged up as well. Just a general announcement out to them. As per the rules, it's important that the numbers are visible on the car. Can't actually see that number at all. Oh, one of the Hexaco cars, number, I think that was 17 there. Just having a little slide off the track. Yeah, I would imagine it is hard work out there at Budgie, especially with the track being so busy. So there's only around 5.5 minutes of the qualifying session to go, guys, and then the drivers do get a brief 5-minute break if they choose to take that break, while myself and Alan go through the positions of the guys on the grid.
Yeah, and pretty much this qualifying session is far from over at the moment. Lap times are still coming in, so there are still some improvements to be made. It's going to be fairly tight. I will say there's two Vulcan sim racing cars fighting for pole so far, which is returning driver Felipe Gaucher and the number 22. Tom Mail. I've just gotten a note actually here right now. He did actually make a request to tow. He did earlier on. So although he's made a very competitive lap time, he did make a request to tow. So unfortunately, won't be able to improve any further on the lap time he has done. But still a very competitive time, nevertheless.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how the guys, especially the new guys, attack the qualifying, because it's not something they're used to doing and the actual officials. So it is fairly new to them, although we did have a couple of a pre-season race with the open qualifying to allow the guys some time to get used to it. But yeah, it's not something you're used to doing every day in official sessions, Alan. How hard is it to adjust to that when you're going into a qualifying session, coming from officials into a championship like Turn 7 racing?
Well, when you think about it, obviously in official races, you've got the entire track to yourself. You've also only got 8 minutes, but you've got a maximum of 2 laps which you can make. So you've got very little time to obviously complete both laps, but you've got to also make sure that your laps are counting, so therefore you're able to be on the grid. Where we've obviously been in a Turn 7 Racing championship event, in qualifying, you've got the no tow rule. So if you request a tow, and some drivers have done so already during this qualifying session, and once you've been granted, that's your qualifying session over. So therefore, you're not allowed back out on track anymore for the rest of the session. So obviously, you've got to make sure that you're not damaging your car to the point where it's beyond repair, and then you're causing yourself to not be able to capitalize on your own pace because you've crashed out early. But as well as that, you've got to make sure you're able to try and set a reasonable lap time, so therefore you're able to be up there towards the top. And doing that from being used to official races to then doing something like this, it does require a very different mentality.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, as we can see by the standing table on the left-hand side here, there's some of these Pro-Ams have got really good pace here at Road Atlanta. We need to keep our eyes on these guys throughout the season. But yeah, they're looking fairly strong there. 7th and 9th position for 2 Pro-Ams, and an evaluation driver there in P6, Sandro Miller.
Yeah, it just goes to show that even though you might not be a pro-class driver, it doesn't mean that you're short of talent or anything like that. If you're able to go as fast as some pro drivers, whether you're in pro-am or even amateur classes, like we've seen some amateur drivers, even last season, we saw an amateur driver win a race overall last season. So just because you're not in the pro class doesn't mean you can't go for the win. If you can go for the win, you go for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why we have our championship point system the way we do, which we actually have to expand it a little bit due to the size of the grid, which is my task tomorrow before I update the finishing positions tonight. But yeah, like as you say, Alan, it's important that that these guys know that they're racing against each other regardless of class. The class is only there for drivers' information, as well as their information as well, and our information. But yeah, like as you said, like last season we seen an AM winning 2 back-to-back races, and it was very interesting to see that a Hexagon Motorsports driver actually, which was good to see as well.
Yeah, it just goes to show how competitive this whole championship is, because it's like, and I think that's what makes this championship as a whole very good. that, you know, drivers that aren't necessarily a pro driver will still try and fight.
Yeah, and they're fully entitled to do so. You know, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see whether the class will go to the drivers' heads and, you know, try and force passes, or whether it will be they'll yield to someone that's a pro or not. So it's going to be interesting to see that, Alan, as we go through the season. However, in past seasons we've seen some good battles between ARMS and pros, and you know, so I'm hoping for more of the same this season as well. So that's the qualifying session now over, guys. Just the last guys coming in with the last laps there. Most of the cars are coming into the pits, getting new tyres on, getting ready for the race. But they do have a 5-minute grace period in between, which they can either use it to warm up more, get used to the track, it should be a little quieter, or they can go and do whatever they want for 5 minutes. Have you got a favourite for the race yet then, Alan?
Everything does still seem to be very, very close. It does. Like, if you're looking at just drivers in the 118s, you're going all the way down to P13, which is Robert Taylor.
P15, actually. Christopher McDuff.
Oh, yeah. Christopher McDuff. Yeah, he's just set another lap time. 118.982. So that's the slowest lap time in the 118. So 14 cars in the 1 minute 18. The fastest lap. Like, that is an astonishing lap time, almost into the 117, which is some insane pace. You know, this might only be qualifying, but obviously the race does require a very different mentality in itself because of how long the race is going to be.
Yeah, exactly. I'm super excited. I can't wait. So let's have a little look at the qualifying results. We do have a lot to go through, guys. Oh, 2 seconds. Yeah, let's have a little look at the qualifying results. Thomas Kadowik has taken pole position here from Team Raceweb.com. Philippe Gosha in second place on the grid. Tom Mill in third. Jeffrey Como fourth. Matt Moinster in fifth. Sandro Miller in sixth. Jensen Arter-Essens in seventh. Bjorn Aschlag in eighth. Ailes Dunbeck Dubenek in ninth. Jordan Wiseby there in 10th. Mikael Buquet 11th. 12th is Dara Arter-Essens. Robert Taylor in 13th. Christopher McDuff in 14th. Simon Ball 15th. Jonas Sega in 16th. 17th is Jonas Greiner. 18th is Kevin Poen. Paul Kerry in 19th. Aero Forsblom in 20th. 21st is Colin D. Campbell from Turn 7 Racing Gold. Ian McDuff. All the Turn 7 Racing team pretty much all together there. Aero Forsblom, Colin D. Campbell and Ian McDuff all together there. Johan Helbrov for Team Slow Motion there is in 23rd on the grid. Matthew Worrell 24th. 25th is Vincent Van Dam. 26th is Stephen McCaffrey. Rasmus Greiner there in 27th. Ola Sankovus 28th. 29th Gregor Caridi. Marcus Boheller there in 30th. Nuno Vinagre. Roberto Moto. Amber Doggenball there for Frushcore Sim Racing Team in 33rd on the grid. Jaws Pinino in 34th. Bruno Guedes in 35th. Sander Kafa in 36th. Rue Felipe Pinino in 37th. 38th is Ernesto El Marici. Nelson Simoes there in 39th. 40th, Terry Raphael. Mo Shack there for Team Abra in 41st. Matt Bix in 42nd. Bjorn Dobarts 43rd. Mika Hakala 44th. 45th. Robert Odoms, Alan Murles in 46th. Nigel Stock 47th. Bruno Albino 48th. 49th is George Abbott. 50th is Nuno Mo Sosa. Alan Day is not racing, so we've only got 50 drivers. Hey, Distinct Dayman, welcome along. Thank you very much for the raid of 6. It's much appreciated. So yeah, guys, that concludes the grid here for today. At the Turn 7 Racing GT3 Pro-Am, sorry, used to saying that. Turn 7 Racing GT3 S4 Championship Round 1 at Road Atlanta. We'll just scroll through them once more for you on your screen as the guys are warming up on track. So Alan, it's a very interesting grid. 50 drivers out there.
Yeah, it's going to be a very highly contested field. Due to the amount of drivers, I'm pretty sure that there'll be a lot of drivers, particularly from within the midfield, that will take it extra cautiously that they are, you know, if they are experienced, and being in such a high number of drivers in the field. For those that are towards the front, they'll obviously feel a little bit more free. But drivers from, I would probably say, P10 and further back will be just looking to just try and get through the first couple of laps safely and just get themselves into single file, because this isn't a track where you want to be necessarily in an incident, because as soon as you get into an incident on a track like this, because there isn't too much room for error, once you make an error, there's possibly no way of coming back from it. So I'm pretty sure that there will be lots of drivers just wanting to get through the first couple of laps and just set into a wheel.
Yeah, exactly, Alan. You know, it's something that we'll be going through the drivers' minds as well. As some of them go up over the crest here. Yeah, like, it's not an easy track. 9 times out of 10, the most hottest places to go off the track have got walls at either side that will destroy your car 9 times out of 10 in one hit. So I'm just hoping these guys keep this in mind as they're going round, you know, and start the race with caution as well. I'm quite sure race control will just remind them that as they're gridding up to, yeah, just take it easy on the pace lap, as well as starting the race with extreme caution. And yeah, just let the race start naturally. It is a 90-minute race. You know, the guys have got plenty of time to gain and lose results. Alan. So everyone is gridding up here for the start of this race. Probably a lot of these drivers feeling the nerves right now, Alan.
Well, I don't know about you, but even I'm feeling a little bit of nerves being in this commentary booth.
Yeah, I'm the exact same, buddy. I'm the exact same. Yeah, it's I'm quite nervous, to be honest. I always am at the start of a season. We're on board with the final car on the grid right now as we go around in the warm-up lap, the pace lap.
And just to remind all the viewers that this is a full pace lap, so you'll get to see a luxurious drive around the amazing track that is Road Atlanta, a very difficult track in the United States, but I'm sure to a lot of drivers is a fan favorite. I personally have a lot of success on this track, so this is definitely one of my most favorite tracks to drive in iRacing.
Very, 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 very technical track. So yeah, these guys will be going around this long pace lap here, full parade lap, getting ready to start this race. And good luck to them all here for round 1 of the championship.
Yeah, just coming along the back straight now. So this will probably be around about where they'll just want to make sure that their tyres are warmed up, their brakes are up to optimum temperature. The first major braking zone is in fact turn 1, and although you can go side by side through the final turn that goes onto the start finish line, I'm pretty sure the majority of drivers would just want to be possibly single file, and just to make sure that they are getting through very cleanly.
So as we get ready here, guys, camera is on the grid, the safety car is in the pit lane, and it's a go here for the Turn 7 Racing Pro-Am Championship, round 1, and there's a spin already before the start-finish line. 2 cars going off as we watch all the cars coming down over the crest of the hill there, everyone making it through.
Yeah, it's
Hope
just
there's another
following
car
them.
off. Another car off up the crest of the hill there. That looked like the leader, actually. It looked like the pole sitter that went off the track there.
Yeah, he's just actually now just rejoining the track. No, that was Sandro Muller, who started P6 in the number 27 Porsche.
Ah, was it P6?
Yeah, it's one of the evaluation drivers that we've got here in this series for today's race. So a little bit of an unfortunate start, but, you know, it's still a lot of time to make up. Oh, and there's a car on its side in the tyre wall. Oh, there's 2 cars. There doesn't seem to be a need for a safety car. One of the 2 cars that was on the safety barrier has actually just managed to get off of that tyre barrier. Somehow, that's Roberto Motor in the 01740.
It's always good to hear that there's no need for a safety car, especially as the race has just started.
Yep.
Absolutely no idea who that was either. There's so much happening right now, so many positions changing up and down the field just now, Alan. There's way too much to call on. We'll let this settle down a couple of laps, I think, and then we'll go through the positions and let everyone know where everyone is. But as it stands right now, this is a very, very interesting start to the race here today. Robert Taylor moved up into 4th as well. He's up 9 positions from his starting position there. He's doing well. Good start to the race here today, Robert, so far.
Yeah, so Roberto Motor, who was in that incident, has now pulled back into the pit. Presumably now just trying to make as much repairs as he possibly can. But it does seem like that maybe effectively his race might be over for the day. Another driver that was caught up in that little incident was Gregorio Caridi, who is one of our evaluation drivers, who you did note earlier on that we could not see his car number. So unfortunately he has had to request for a tow, which was granted. Other than that, other than that one other little incident, I don't believe that there was any other incident of concern. Although I am just seeing now, just coming into the pits is Vincent Van Dam in the number 73 Hexagon Motorsport car.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Thomas Kardowzik here in the lead right now for team at racework.com. Yeah, it's very interesting. He's got some pace out here, Alan. He's just put in the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:19.13, but someone's just stole that off him. Bjorn Arslag with a 1:19.12, who's currently in 6th place.
Yeah, it just goes to show that we could be seeing quite a lot going on over the course of this race. There is quite a few battles going around the track. One battle I'm looking at right now is a battle between Dara Andresen, Simon Ball, Jonas Greiner, and Christopher McDuff.
Yep, we are just zoomed into that right now as well. Jonas Greiner, a very seasoned driver here at Turn 7 Racing as well. Always good to see him doing well in the championship. And that's number 02 as well. He got 2nd place in the AMP Championship last season and moved up into Pro Class. So he'll be looking to prove a point here this season, Alan.
Yeah, I believe he got his first ever win overall when we travelled to the Nürburgring, as we see Simon Ball go around the outside of Dara Andresen. Looks like he makes very easy work going around the outside of that Porsche before that chicane of 10A and 10B.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, Alan, from driving the Mercedes AMG, very, very, very fast in a straight line. You know, and got a lot of torque to pull out of the corners as well. So any long straight, it'll eat probably almost any car up, I would say.
Yeah, I think the only car that can possibly match it on engine performance is possibly that Ferrari 488 GT3 car that is being driven by Jonas Greiner, a very seasoned driver in that Ferrari. He's driven that car every single season, so he knows that car inside and out. So although this track possibly doesn't suit the Ferrari quite so well because there's only one long straight on this entire track, he'll make full use of his car to be able to fully capitalise on any mistakes that any driver does make.
Yeah, exactly. And further down the grid just now, we've got a nice little battle cooking up here between Matthew Worrell, Ian McDuff and Johan Helbrov right now as well. Alan, 3 of them all together there. And just behind that as well, there's another pack of 4 drivers. Stephen McCafferty in amongst that in P21. All the action is happening from P6 down.
Yeah. Oh, and Jensen Andresen's just gone off at the final corner on the outside.
Yeah, we see the smoke there. It is sitting there at the side of the track. He will have to wait. Unfortunately, he's in a really bad area. Let's get a different camera view on that and watch his rejoin, as he will struggle to rejoin, and he does drop down to where there was an available space there. Very, very nice rejoin there from Jensen. He'll be extremely frustrated right enough, though, Alan. So Johan Helberov looking for a way around Ian McDuff right now. The 2 Scottish guys racing against each other. As you can hear the backfires off that Porsche there as it hits the apex off the revs. Johan looking for a way around the outside of Ian McDuff, going down the long straight. Has he got enough legs against the Lamborghini? It looks like if he's past him right now. And he has Ian McDuff having to pull in behind him for that final chicane before they head up over the hill towards the start-finish line. Nice manoeuvre there from Johan Helberov to take him up into P17. That's him up 6 positions from his grid position today, guys. Off to an absolute blinder of a start. Colin T. Campbell in the BMW right now as well, looking for a way around Eero Forsblom by looks of it, one of his teammates.
Yeah, it's good to see Colin Dean Campbell back in this season. Driving a different car. He's normally used to driving the Ferrari 488, but obviously deciding to drive the BMW for this season. But he's definitely no slouch in GT3s. Shows as he looks like he was going to make a move, possibly just showing a nose to Lero to say that I am there. You've got to respect that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Aero's, again, a very, very seasoned driver here at Turn 7 Racing, an actual part of the endurance team here at Turn 7 Racing, and he's coming on at leaps and bounds, you know, as he's working through his iRacing career, so to speak, and certainly here in the championship as well. It's very good to see him doing so well. Paul Kerry as well, doing good. Paul Kerry's up 6 positions from his starting position as well, who was our second place in the Pro Class last season. Finished second place, guys, in Pro Class last season, Paul did, in the whole championship here at Turn 7 Racing. So, yeah, Paul's a very, very clean driver. He almost got that cleanest driver of the season award as well, Alan.
Yeah, I think he was only partially ruined in the last couple of races during last season, and the incidents weren't really even his fault or anything like that. It was just a matter of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So it just goes to show that it doesn't just mean that you are, you know, literally that sometimes there is a bit of luck in some of these races, and that's what makes these type of races so enjoyable to be in, is that, you know, sometimes just having a bit of good luck and some bad luck and can make or break a race or even a championship.
Yeah. It's interesting, Stephen McCafferty's went into the pit lane. I'm not sure whether Stephen's had an incident before, or whether he's just went out with the wrong fuel. I'm not quite sure what's going on with Stephen there. Very, very strange to have a car pitting this early in the race. Maybe it's a tactic from him. Get yourself out of traffic.
It's not. He's actually got damage on the front of his car. He's actually driven the car all the way back to pit lane from being out on track, so he's had an incident somewhere. It was during lap 7. He was just caught in a little incident through Johan Hilabarov, who had just spun round coming down the hill in the Essex, and this was completely caught off guard. Yeah, he just spun all on his own, did the 34 Porsche, and it's caught a few drivers out, but nothing to really necessarily warrant a safety car, maybe. Yeah, because there's not been any cars that are actually stranded out on track. So, although it does look like it was a little bit of a hefty hit, thankfully, yet again, no safety car.
Marcus Boheller just having an incident there as well, Alan. Let's have a quick look at that on the replay, guys. He's already missing the front bonnet off that car. Oh, he just loses the Porsche going round turn 1.
Yeah, thankfully he doesn't get caught from anybody behind him. So make sure he makes his rejoin. He does have a little disconnect. He does there as well, but yeah, there you go. So a little bit of a spin, but thankfully he manages to keep going.
Yeah, good on him for keeping his nose in there as well. Sander Kaffer as well, currently one of the evaluation drivers, currently down in P29, still with a full carb, doing fairly well, keeping his nose clean. Amber Doggenbaugh as well, currently up 13 positions from a starting position on the grid. Currently sitting 20th place there from the Frushcourt Sim Racing team. Amber's a very, very, very good driver, Alan. Very, very strong and fast as well, you know, and consistent as well, which is important.
Yeah, Amber, I don't really know too much about Amber on in GT3 cars. I know Amber does drive LMP2 apparently. I believe Amber does also drive GTE cars. but I've never noticed Amber driving GT3 cars. So if that is the case, that this is something new, then obviously Amber will have quite a bit to learn about GT3 cars. They don't have the downforce or the grip compared to cars they've driven before, but definitely making some very good ground so far. Up 13 places from P33 through to what is it now? P20.
Yeah, doing very, very good indeed. Robert Taylor currently sitting in 8th as well. He's lost a couple of positions, I think, from what we've seen him going up to. Yeah, at least one anyway. Al's Dubinek able to take a position off Robert, I think it was. Unless he's made a mistake somewhere. There's so much happening all over the track right now. It's very, very difficult, Alan, to keep on top of everything here.
Yeah, like I mean, you probably have not noticed, but there has been a few more requested tows in areas that thankfully did not require a safety car. So, I've seen another couple of drivers now just driving to pit lane, and just having a look at the list to see who else has actually made requested tows. So, another driver who's made a requested tow was Nuno Sousa, the 247 car. He was stuck within a tyre wall, but thankfully, because they were in no dangerous area.
Oh! Dara Andreessens goes up the inside of Simon Bolgan down the S. He makes contact with Simon and almost pushes him right off the track.
And there's another incident going through the S's. Sandro Muller, one of our evaluation drivers, hits somebody up the rear and just spins all on his own. Does catch one driver out one of the walls racing cars, but thankfully that extended incident is gone.
Yeah, let's have a little look at that there with Sandro Muller. Oh, yep, you can just see the contact through the trees here. It's not the best camera angle ever, but yeah, you can just see the contact and no more there.
Yeah, and just having a look at the replay now, Simon Ball did make a mistake going up the hill into turn 3, and that does make I'll probably say a bit of a bold move going up the inside. I'm not sure if he was, he had priority the corner there at the moment of turn in, but whether or not the less, he does make contact with Simon Ball, and the 03 Mercedes AMG is forced to go off wide and is now behind the Turn 7 Racing green Lamborghini that is of Christopher McDuff.
Yep, a little incident there. Not really sure what happened. It didn't quite show it. Vincent Van Dam also had an incident. Not sure what is going on here. A lot of overtaking happening right now. People starting to struggle out there, Alan, I think. Yeah, Vincent Van Dam just having a spin on the exit of that corner there. Does the right thing though, sits and waits. Oh, he's having to wait again. If that was you on the grass there, Alan, I would probably be reversing to try and get my car round the right way, to help with a rejoin there. Because he's lost a hell of a lot of positions.
Yeah, his car does look to be terminally damaged. It's not quite steering in a straight line, so he's now just coming into the pits now. He is already multiple laps down. So what damage he did get at the start of the race, by the looks of it, it has now become further damage, so he's just coming into the pits again.
Yeah. And there's a good little battle still going on here between Paul Kerry, Aero Forsblom, and Colin D. Campbell here, number 71. It's interesting just how this is panning out between the three of these guys. There's no one really pushing to take the position, but yet again, they're all sitting fairly similar. Positions between each other there, but what they've got to remember there is Amber is creeping up on them as well. Currently around 7, maybe 8 seconds out It's quite a distance at the end of the day, but Amber has got the pace here, I think, to possibly see this through. She looks to take advantage there of Rasmus Greiner. Goes up the inside. Outside, sorry. Looks like if she's going to make it through there. Oh, no.
Well, Rasmus
she
is
braked it up.
fighting.
Yeah, Rasmus
Going
is
into
fighting
the
for it.
8 and 10B chicane.
Rasmus holding on to that position there. Nice little battle going into that corner there, Alan. Very, very good driving from both drivers there.
Yeah, like Rasmus is definitely a fighter, as it's shown ever since he did join the series and during the inauguration race. As Amber goes up the inside again into turn 1.
Very brave move as well.
Yeah, it's a very good classic maneuver to bank at turn 1, but it's not easy to pull off necessarily. But it just goes to show the confidence that Amber does have in that brand new Porsche GT3R.
Yeah, Sandro Miller as well there from Germany, looking to take Rasmus as well, but he drops away there at the exit of that corner, Alan. You think his car's struggling a little bit? It looks to me like if that rear spoiler's a little bit buckled. In fact, it definitely is.
Yeah, it is a little bit buckled. That would have been from his incident earlier on. Sandro did start P6, don't forget. So he was the driver that had a little incident during the very first lap of this race. So he has got ground to make up. He is making positions back from that opening lap incident, and that he had, I believe, on his own. But he's now getting the inside. He's got the momentum going down the hill. And there he goes into P18.
Yep, Rasmus Greiner drops down to P19. Sandro Miller up into P18. Very clean, tidy. Nice move done there. Very well done. Bjorn Arslag currently in P5, looking for a battle just now.
Yeah, there are some very good battles it's looking to be.
Yeah, all over the field as well, Alan. It's not just, it's not just the front 10, sort of the mid-pack in the back. They're all having their own little battles in their packs. Mika Akala's just had a crash as well there.
Yeah, that'll be going into turn 1. He has rejoined the track safely. He has got the car to just come out of pit exit.
Bjorn Arslag having to go wide there out of the final turn. Just picking up some grass on those left-hand wheels. As he heads up over the crest into that tricky little corner. If you hit that wrong in the post, by God, you get bounced right off the track. In fact, let's jump on board with Bjorn Arslag right now, because you have absolutely no idea just how bouncy this car actually is. I'm hoping the TV cameras actually show just how bouncy the Porsche is going round here. Jeffrey Comel's got a good little bit of draft behind Arslag right now. He is catching.
And we're just getting signs of another retirement. It's John Dobat's in the number 18 Porsche, who has just pulled off the track at the end of the S's at the entrance to turn 5. He is way off to the escape road, so that should not require a safety car, thankfully.
Yep. Oh, Chris McDuff just went off. Let's see what happened there. Oh, we can't actually see him. He's going under the bridge, coming down over the hill. Oh, he just collects the grass on the outside. Oh my goodness, man. Sitting on the apex into the final turn, but he's managed to save that. And rejoins safely off the race line as well. He'll be... I can't even say what I was going to say. But yeah, he would have got a fright there, like, and he's dropped down a few positions as well. He's down to P14 now, back down to where he started actually on the grid. So he's not lost that much, but at the end of the day, it's still not ideal, Alan.
No, definitely not.
So Colin D. Campbell actually managed to pass Hero Forsblom, which we actually missed. Alan. So he's now behind Paul Kerry. So Colin's currently, you know, he's pushing. He's getting the positions, he's being patient, and it's starting to pay off for him.
Yeah, like it just goes to show that if you've got that commitment, then you can definitely make gains.
Yep, Johan Helberov just having an incident there as well, Alan. Let's quickly have a look at that. You can see him right up the back of that STR Tech car. Looks up the inside and he just loses it on at the corner there.
Yeah, that sort of thing is fairly easy to do. It is like it's quite easy to make a mistake across a few sections of the track, especially on the exit of turn 5. The outside curve at the exit of turn 5 is very, very wide. It's very long, but if you hit that curve in the wrong way, you can very easily get a jump from the car and just spins out of control, and there's just no way of saving it. Oh, and there's a little spin around at 10B. That's Vincent Van Dam, who has already had a couple of incidents during this race, but he has now finally managed to get himself back onto track. And Paul Carey's just been overtaken. He has by Ian McDuff and by Leroy Forsblom, as well as Colin D. Campbell. I'm not exactly sure how that has happened. I believe maybe a little mistake, or maybe just gotten the rough footing from the incident just ahead with Vincent Van Dam.
Yeah, well, I think what actually happened there is we looked at it on the replay is Colin was going up the inside to that final chicane there, Alan, after a long straight, and I think Paul just missed his braking marker because he kind of went straight on to the grass. He certainly didn't turn in. It's Stephen McCafferty back out for the rest of the race. You can see him leaving the pits there, guys, in the background of that replay.
And speaking of Amber from a few laps ago, it's just showing how quick Amber is right now. She is now on the very back of Paul Carey. The two very seasoned drivers, one very used to GT3 cars, one is possibly still getting used to GT3, but it doesn't mean that she's no slouch or anything like that. She's definitely pushing as hard as she possibly can.
Yeah, just to add to that as well, is Sandro Miller is certainly keeping his distance fairly close to this, but I think he's deliberately pulled back there in case anything happens here, Alan.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure that Miller in the 27 Porsche has seen Amber for quite a while, and she is making some very good maneuvers, so he's probably thinking that if Amber tries to go for a move that isn't quite on and has to pull back from it, Sandro might be able to make a maneuver. So Amber may have to respect that she's got a driver directly behind her, because Sandro doesn't connect them curves properly. Goes wide at turn 5. And yeah, Matthew Wall is now directly behind Sandro after that mistake, but Wall does pull back from it, interestingly.
Amber makes a move up the inside and manages it. What a move against Paul Carey there. Paul losing that position to Colin before they actually dropped him the couple of positions and put him in the position of a battle with Amber. Lost another position at the same corner. Almost the exact same move as Colin made on him as well. But
And
this
now
time,
Sandro Muller's going for a move on the inside. Paul Kerry closes the door at turn 1. Very expertly done.
very, very good racing here for this opening race of the championship. Very, very clean as well, Alan.
Yeah, there has been drivers that have been making mistakes, so it does go to show that these drivers are still human. After all, these are not robots, and Sandro now makes a maneuver coming up to turn 6 on Paul Kerry. Can they make the move? They might be side by side going into turn 7, and Sandro does make the move stick.
Yep, and also
so
leaves room for the
Jordan.
next car as well, and also Matthew Worrell coming through.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening to Paul Kerry. I wonder if he's just been caught napping, or maybe his confidence has just fallen off a little bit.
He's keeping the battle on with Matthew though, going into turn 8 here. But Matthew makes that stick and goes through. Yeah, ball seems to be dropping down fairly rapidly these last few laps here, Alan.
I'm just seeing a car that's just rejoined on the track on the exit of turn 12.
Yep.
That was Marcus Valhalla. Very clean rejoin though, I will say. Not the easiest of rejoins that you can possibly make on the track, I will say though, because of the speed that you come down the hill. So very well done, very good awareness.
Yeah, exactly. And interestingly enough as well, with
Oh, and
Simon
the
Ball's
car
made
just
his...
spun off that Alice Dumbanek, who was P9 at the time.
Oh, he just takes too much curb on the inside there and goes out and bounces off the tyre wall, no doubt picking up some sort of aero damage there. Be interesting to see if that affects that car. Ferrari a very strong track here as well, Alan. I've had a little go of it yesterday around here. Very easy to drive around this circuit. Robert Taylor currently sitting in P7. He's managed to regain that position he lost earlier there. 7 seconds behind Como in front. I'm quite sure if Robert manages to finish in 7th, he'll be fairly happy with his result here today, Alan.
Yeah. Oh, there's been a big hit. Yeah, it's yet to turn 12.
Sander Kaffer incident, was it? Let's check that out. If this is the one anyway. Sander Kaffer, 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, that's a bad one. Oh, yeah. Multiple cars involved in that, which causes a safety car here at the Turn 7 Racing Championship. As he's sitting at the side of the track there, waiting to be towed back to the pits. There's a full course yellow here. The T7R Championship. All that work that the leader has done to create that gap is now gone. And everyone is now starting to bunch back up. Well, more interestingly as well though, Alan, will they make the pit stops during this safety car? It is within the pit stop window, I think. You know, if you're going to make it, you're within the hour. May have to save just a little bit of fuel.
It's definitely possible. Like, you will be saving some fuel over the course of this safety car period. So it's definitely possible. And I do wonder if some drivers are a little bit worried about tyre wear. May they possibly even change tyres if they feel they can manage it?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if anyone does take advantage of the very short pit window when the safety car is out here. Very interesting to see if that happens. So this opens the race really up fully. Yep, there's people making a dive for the pit lane there. Felipe Gosha is one of them, I think. The only one to stay out so far is the leader. Oh, no, there's a few cars staying out, but there's also a few cars entering the pit. A lot of cars entering the pit, actually.
Yeah, the other driver that stayed out on track, other than our race leader, which is Thomas Kordowitz, is P2 in Tom Mayle. So it'll be very interesting. And Jonas Greiner stayed out, as well as Colin D. Campbell. Jordan Wisby has also stayed out, one of the Vulcan Sim Racing Academy cars, driving the 55 Porsche. So some drivers have decided to stay out on track, but the majority of drivers have actually come into pit lane, including Felipe Gosha. It does look like maybe, I'm not sure if that's just dirt or if it's a tiniest little bit of front end damage.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be interesting to see how this pans out for the people that pitted.
Oh, wait. Felipe Gosha is changing tyres, and I don't think he's meant to do that because if you have a look at his car in pit lane right now, as everyone else all cycles out of pit lane against one another, he is still in pit lane trying to spin his rear tyres up.
It could be a tactic from Felipe. He has done it before, and it's proved to be a good one for him. And he has made those positions back. So it'll be interesting to see if he actually manages to do that here. Because bearing in mind, Alan, the safety car is still out just now, and the amber lights are still going, so he's got a chance to catch up with the pack here. You know, and most of the field is still to make the stops. So that's a lot of positions he can gain back up. It's maybe a wise choice to be changing tyres there.
Yeah, I think if any driver can possibly make this sort of tactic work, if this is what he was meant to do, it's going to be Felipe Gosha that will be able to make that work.
So yeah, the full top 5 cars have had 0 stops. Almost everyone right up to P20 that you can see there have actually made their pit stop. Our official sponsor, Road Rally Race, getting his little say in. He would have pitted as well, he said, and took tyres. There's a possible chance I might have as well. So if you think of it, right, there's another couple of minutes before this safety car goes in, Alan. You know, oh, wait a minute, safety car's lights are out, so it will go in at the end of this lap. So if you actually think about it, guys, your pace is going to be faster than everyone else on the track. You're going to have more grip. You know, yeah, could perfectly make sense.
Especially coming to the end of this race. And bear in mind, the track temperature is starting to come up. At the start of the race, it was a track temperature of 21 degrees Celsius. It's now gone up to as high as 24. So it's gone up by 3 degrees Celsius since the start of this race.
Yeah, and still 40 odd minutes to go as well, Alan. We're not, you know, we're not even halfway through here.
No, exactly. So there's still a long way to go. So possibly making the tactic of changing tyres might be in the long run a good idea to make if they can capitalise on their brand new tyres. But there's still a long way to go, as you say, and a lot of positions to make up. So we'll just have to wait and see how the end of this race goes.
Yep, and we just got a shout-out request in there from the rally boss, Mr. Lysak, for a shout-out for Dirt Rally 2, please. There's your shout-out, buddy. Big shout-out to Dirt Rally 2. Oh, Amber's had an incident there. I don't know whether she's connecting with people in the back of the pack. But we're about to go light screen here again for the T7R GT3 Championship. The safety car is in the pit lane. Oh, and the leader did jump a little bit there. I didn't get a green light there. He went as soon as the safety car went in.
Yep, and he was told on the voice comms, because I did get it live, that he was told to only go when the green flag was shown. So I'm very certain that the race marshals will have a look at that post-race.
Yeah, that was definitely a jump on the start there from the leader, number 96, Thomas Kardowick.
And just watching all of these cars going around the track as we restart this race, and there are going to be a few drivers that have definitely capitalized from that safety car. One driver being Robert Taylor. Another driver that is probably going to be able to capitalize on this quite a lot as well is Robert Muller, who obviously had that incident during the first lap. He's now back up to P10, and P6 is only a couple of seconds up the road.
Yeah, exactly, Alan, as we are getting the best times of each class up in the top there below the class sections there, guys. As you know, we did go through this before the start of the race. Pro class, the fastest lap of the race so far is a 1:18.912. Evaluation drivers, which there's two of, I think there's only one still running though, is at a 1:19.517. Pro Am is a 1:19.321, and amateur class fastest lap so far is a 1:20.388. As you can see there, the classes are definitely working, Alan.
Yeah, like it does go to show that these evaluation races that we had before the start of this season, just to say to everybody, for those of you that has just joined, post-season of Season 3, oh, there's a little bit of a near hit there at the entrance to Turn B.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that was there. I've seen a Mercedes-Benz. It looked like one of the, one of the STR Tech, maybe? Drivers?
Yeah, I believe that was one of the SRT Tech cars. That did look like it, so...
Yeah, I'm sure that's Alan Marles that was there.
But yeah, as I was saying, so for those of you that are just joining, if you weren't aware, Turn 7 Racing did an evaluation race, two evaluation races post-season. So any new drivers that were coming into this season had to complete 2 evaluation races.
What an absolute, sorry to interrupt, Alan, what an absolute outstanding battle we're witnessing here between Robert Taylor and Jeffrey Como right now. Neck and neck going through turns 6 and 7, side by side, and still side by side going up the straight here. And Robert Taylor just gets the better of that situation there and manages to hold on to that position of P7 there.
Yeah, these two drivers are really going at it.
Yep,
like,
neck and neck again. Almost.
Yeah. And bearing in mind, these two drivers have very big differences in experience. And I've just seen another car that is off the track. That's Johan Dobats, who's just rejoined the track, and he's off the track again.
I think some of these guys are struggling with the new Porsche. Someone I actually haven't seen at all actually in the race, Alan, is Jonas Sega. Is he still out on track? No, he's not.
Yeah, definitely some drivers are having a lot more difficulty than certain others. The track is gripping up. The track is heating up as well. So in essence there, you do lose some grip from that. And the safety car, there was a safety car period that we did have about 5 minutes ago. So maybe that has gotten into some drivers' minds that maybe they're a little bit switched off maybe. But altogether so far, it does look like that some drivers are definitely going at it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just getting news there from the chat. Thank you, guys. I'm just getting news from the chat there, Alan, that Jonas Sega had technical issues and he had to retire from the race early on.
No, that is very, very unlucky for Jonas. Obviously, he's a veteran driver, obviously, within the Turn 7 racing community, having driven GCEs, obviously, in T7R races before, but a brand new driver to the GT3 side of races. So, although he's driven in Turn 7 racing events before, GT3s is definitely a new thing for him, where driving in this specific league is concerned. Very unfortunate to have to pull out in the early stages, but, you know, hopefully he'll be able to bounce back in the next round next week.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be back stronger and better next week. It's always unfortunate to see someone having technical issues, but obviously retiring due to him being unable to drive safely was a wise choice from Jonas, to be honest. Very noble. Jeffrey Commel still putting the pressure on Robert Taylor here as they bounce really hardly over that curb on exit of turn 5 there.
Yeah, the Mercedes doesn't tend to mind that at all, and Amber's just had a little spin on the entrance to the S's. Just attempting to rejoin onto the track to make sure that they rejoin safely, and they do.
Let's quickly go and have a little look at that on the oh yeah, you can see there. Manages to save that from hitting anything as well. Very well done, Amber.
It does look like there is a little bit of front end damage to the 613 Porsche GT3R. So I'm not sure where they have got that little bit of damage. Possibly from that
taking a
little
defensive line into turn 1 again there. Really having to defend hard against Jeffrey Commel here. Going into turn 1, Jeffrey looked up the inside. Robert switched, which is perfectly fine to do. Which I think he was already making the move anyway by the looks of it. And Jeffrey had nowhere to go. He had to go back out to the outside onto the race line. Robert just ensuring that he doesn't get past or go up the inside there in turn 1. Robert giving Ian McDuff a little flash there in P33 as he's lapping him.
Just to bear in mind, Ian McDuff has his teammate, Christopher McDuff, just behind that little barrel that Robert Taylor is in right now. So there could be, although obviously no tactics like that are allowed, there is a borderline of which they could say, well, like I'm not able to get out of the way because of the area of the track I'm in. And that maybe has held up Robert Taylor just a little bit as they go for another move into 10A and 10B. But Robert Taylor still managing to keep that P7 position at the moment as we come back down the hill.
Yeah, this is a battle we're going to have to keep our eyes on here, guys. There is other battles going on around the field, but this one is thoroughly entertaining right now, Alan.
Yeah, it's definitely the most heated battle Just to bear in mind, Robert Taylor has joined in bearing a view every single GT3 series race there has ever been. That Turn Racing has hosted. For Jeffrey Como, I believe this is his first actual season race, other than the evaluation races they would have participated in before the season.
Yeah, and he seems to be a very, very clean, tidy driver. I'm excited to see how well he does throughout the championship, Jeffrey. You know, definitely the right decision as well, putting him in the pro class, as he's got some pace here, as we see. You know, and again, the evaluation process is obviously starting to take its.
Look at this, and Jeffrey's going to try and make another move around the outside. Can he this time make it stick? No, he can't. Robert Taylor just about has the brakes going into that chicane. As a car that looks quite highly damaged goes into the parts in the background. Just coming up to a couple of lap cars now. They've got to be smart about this, because lap cars could very easily get in the way.
And one does there on the apex.
Yes, they do.
Moa Shack there, just being in an awkward place there. But he was there the whole way, so you can't really, you know, he was predictable. He held his line. He didn't do anything wrong. He just wasn't where you would like him to be.
Yeah, and the problem was that there was another car that was also being lapped directly there as well, and they were getting out of the way, but it was like it was very difficult to get out of the way, because the moment you make any type of move where they were at that very specific moment, I think you possibly could say that they would cause more harm than good.
But as you can see here, that you know, that's kind of a played off for Robert there, because he managed to use the traffic to his advantage here, and he's now got a gap on Jeffrey Como now, and Christopher McDuff in between them as well.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Jeffrey Como. It might show a little bit of maybe the lack of experience being in a race such as this. But obviously, Christopher McDuff is obviously his debut season was obviously last season. Obviously, you know, Robert Taylor has been in this since the beginning.
Let's quickly jump down to the leader and see how he's getting on. Our current race leader, Thomas Kardowick, there in P1 from racework.com race team, doing extremely well. I'm sure the team manager will be extremely happy with his position. However, he did jump the start on the race restart after the safety car. That will be evaluated properly after the race, and if there's a penalty that may be issued, it will be issued in the debriefing of the race marshals after the dispute channel has closed tomorrow evening.
Yeah, just getting another report of another quick requested tow, which is the 501 of Mika Hakala. His steering was very majorly bent, so he could not really steer in a straight line. At the exit of turn 5, on the runoff area, or I should say the entrance to turn 5. So thankfully, because of him being way off the circuit, he was able to make the request to tow, and the tow was granted, and no need for a safety car yet again.
Yeah, well done to the drivers out on track today. You know, Alan, I'm going to. I don't like to give anything a commentator's cost, but we have seen very little car-in-car contact.
Yeah, and I think even if there has been car contact, it's been very little, and all it was basically, you know, a little motto that some drivers have, especially in the likes of, say, NASCAR or British touring cars, Cubbings racing. And, you know, if it's the tiniest of little tap and it's like they're just fighting hard, you know, I don't see quite as much of a problem. I'm not sure how honestly you completely feel about it. Obviously, you know, in the highest standards possible, none of us like any form of contact, but if it means we get hard but fair racing, I don't tend to mind that quite so much, as long as they have respect for each other and they know not to go overboard.
Oh yeah, definitely, Alan. You know, it is racing at the end of the day. Sometimes two cars are going to come together, and that's why there is a judgment in the dispute system classed as a racing incident. You know, we do like to see a little bit of door rubbing, you know, but when it's full on clumsy contact. Oh, Bjorn Arslag went off the track there, Alan. Just going up towards the crest there in turn 2 and 3. Interesting. Let's quickly go and have a look and see what happened there.
Yes, directly behind the teammate, there's a little bit of a wash, and he hits the outside wall a little bit. Yeah, that
Hopefully,
does look.
Hopefully, it's not terminal there. I hope that shock absorber in the back left-hand side is okay.
He's just made a request to tow.
Yeah, it must be broke. Yeah, as you can see it. Oh, yeah, he actually has another incident through it as well. You're right out into the...
and that's George Abbott. Yeah, that's George Abbott in the tyre wall. That is, that looks like a car smoking as well. Will that require... Yeah, he's crashed at the exit of turn 5 somewhere.
So I'm not... Oh, sugar.
He's just getting going now. He is, thankfully, but that does look like that could be terminal.
Yeah, let's just have a look at that again there. Two cars involved in that. Oh, going up over the crest, just too much grass on the left-hand side, took him into the wall. He's way off the track there. As he spins the car around. Let's see what happens next, though. Oh, that car's wrecked. You can see it with his... Oh, no, he's testing the steering, actually.
Yeah, I just can confirm now. Race marshals have actually just contacted the number 63 driver, George Abbott, and asked him to tow immediately, which I believe doesn't happen too often.
Yep. Strange, because I can't really see where it says he went off again, and it's not. He may just have went off the track to give way to people. But he certainly. No,
yeah, he went off track again, so that way he could actually properly tow.
Yeah. Back into the action here for the Turn 7 Racing. Round 1 here of the championship. An absolute jam-packed championship. Reaming full of drivers, and very skilled drivers as well, as we've seen so far in round 1, Alan. Thank you very much for the follow there, guys. It's much appreciated. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast of today's race. I'm sorry if you can't understand my Scottish lingo. Stephen McCafferty having an incident there as well. Not sure where that first off came from. Let's have a little look. Oh, off with Amber as well there. That happened ages ago. Let's have a look at that. So he's still... Oh, his contact with Amber. Amber and Stephen has contact going up the straight there.
It does look like a little bit of netcode is involved. But I think even with that little bit of netcode, a little bit more room should have been given, especially given the fact that these two aren't even battling for position.
Yeah, there's a lap car. I mean, it's a hard one. I'll be expecting a dispute in about that, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, obviously, the race marshal will probably at least have a look at that.
Yeah, quite sure it will go down in the race marshal's end of race notes to have a look at that. So as you can see, guys, you know, like a 90-minute race, it's not easy. Certainly not on a track like this. You know, when you start coming across traffic and managing traffic, that's when it starts to become difficult. You really have to choose your time to overtake with extreme caution. You know, because yeah, you don't. There's guys here at all levels, and you don't know who you're overtaking. You know, and you've got to bear that in mind as well. It is the first race. Lots of these guys haven't raced against each other before tonight. So yeah, it's a good eye-opener for everybody, and as I say, it's been a fairly clean race. Only one questionable serious incident there, I think, from the race marshal point of view, between Amber and Stephen McCafferty there.
Yeah, definitely something that, in my personal point of view, probably shouldn't have happened. But, you know, these mistakes do happen, especially, you know, some of these drivers may have not been racing for a few weeks, but obviously, you know, drivers should know certain basic rules. Obviously, say, for example, whether they might be, you know, obeying blue flags, you know, letting cars through that are lapping them.
Yep.
You know, but obviously, you know, as goes to show, some incidents do happen.
Yeah, as we're starting to see now here as well, some of these drivers that never pitted under safety car are starting to pit now. Jordan Wisby, the first out of the leading pack there that didn't take advantage of the safety car, jumping out of the pits. It'll be interesting to see how that works out for him and where he finishes here today, Alan, now that we are over the hour mark.
Yeah, and there's still some battles going on. Christopher McDuff has managed to make a pass on Robert Taylor since we last saw them. So Christopher McDuff is now up into P5. Having started P14, Robert Taylor is up to P6 after starting P13. So it does seem like that there are some drivers that have definitely made good gains. But one driver in particular, Matthew Wald, started P24. He's now in P10. And Robert Taylor's just making another move on Christopher McDuff to gain back that P5 position.
Yeah, this is an interesting little battle between the two of them here. Christopher will be really enjoying this. He likes this sort of racing. And Christopher's also got Matt Moister behind him as well, now chasing him into turn one there and got really close. Jeffrey Como as well. This has been an ongoing battle pretty much the whole race, Alan, between these guys. So it's interesting to see that is still going on as Robert Taylor now. I heard a crash there. I'm not sure where it was, but I heard it from the commentary box.
Yeah, I did as well, actually. I'm just going to have a look at that now and see exactly what happened there, because I definitely did hear something, but I'm not exactly sure what it was.
Yeah, Robert Odoms, I think it was. But yeah, like now that the pit stop strategies are starting to come round. I mean, that's the leader now in the pits, in the pit lane, and it looks like if Robert Taylor is going to take the lead here, Alan.
It does look like it. There is a car that does seem to be stranded though, and that is, as you said, Robert Odam's car number 29 is it does seem like he is blown just before turn 6, but it is off the racing line, thankfully. So I do not believe that would be was needing a safety car for any reason.
Yep, as we were watching the current leader in the pit lane, Robert Taylor, and right back to Sandro Muller has went past the leader. Robert Taylor is now the leader of the race, guys. Christopher McDuff in second, Matt Moister in third, fourth Jeffrey Commel, Sandro Muller in fifth, and the previous leader, Thomas Kardowik there, is now in 6th place. He's down 5 positions.
I will say this. Thomas's pace has been thunderous all race so far. So as long as he's still got tyres left, I do believe he could still have a chance to win this race. But it does mean also that he has got to get a move on. And he is just lapping the Hexagon Motorsports car of Vincent Van Dam in the 73 Porsche. And he does get by him very, very quickly. But now he's on that charge. The first driver he's got to get past is his own teammate, Sandro Muller, who did spin as the first lap. Is now all the way back up to P6. So Sandro Muller has definitely put on a very good comeback of a race so far.
Yeah, and being an evaluated driver as well, you know, obviously we'll have a look at those incidents Sandro had when we're actually evaluating Sandro after race 2. But yeah, like, as I say, so far, certainly putting on a show. But as it stands right now, Robert Taylor from STR Tech is in the lead, and that was the man that said before the race he would be quite happy with a top 10 finish, Alan.
Yeah, exactly. And at the moment, he is actually leading this race, although he's probably not exactly comfortable given the fact that the top 4 cars are separated by 1 second, and P5 is now directly behind. And I can actually see Thomas Kordowitz directly in the background there as they go along the back straight coming up to turn 10 and 10B.
Yep, exactly. And we are now locked into the top 5 as this battle is currently ongoing. We're trying to keep you strongly in this. Wisby just taking over on Matthew Worrell there. We will have a little look at that overtake, guys. Going up the straight, nicely done. Jordan Wisby from Vulcan Sim Racing, overtaking the Wilkes Racing Gold driver of Matthew Worrell. Very nicely done.
Yeah, one of the drivers that did not pit under the safety car. And will probably say it was worth it to actually pit under the safety car. But then, you know, there are a couple of drivers that definitely have the pace that didn't.
Yeah, but when you look at it as well, Philippe Gaucha, where was he before the pit stops? I'm sure he was in P4 or something, wasn't he? He's now in P12. And remember, if you remember back, Alan, Philippe Gaucha actually took tyres in his pit stop. So it'll be interesting to see where he actually gets up to. Now, he's quite a distance behind the top 5. Not uncatchable, but he's certainly there. And he's catching Michael Biquet right now. Looks like if he's going to be making a move on him. And we will keep our eyes on that. Jordan Wisby as well is catching Jensen Arderescence right now. And he passes him. Going into turn 8 there. Very nicely done. We'll have a little look at Gaucha as well. Oh, Gaucha's front of his car's completely missing there.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that might be part of the cause to why he's not making as much ground as what we expected of him after that pit stop. Like he is behind Michael Biquet, who we haven't really spoken too much about throughout this race. Both of these two drivers are driving with what could possibly, I would probably say to them, is new cars. Michael Biquet obviously drove the McLaren last season. Found it, I would say, fairly difficult to drive, but he was getting the grips of it towards the end of last season especially. Felipe Gaucha obviously driving the Lamborghini last season, now changed to the BMW.
Whoa. Not sure who that was.
That would be Vincent Van Dam, who's had a bit of a very difficult race so far.
Yeah, he kind of tried to get out the way, but it got in the way.
Yeah, and sometimes just sticking to your line sometimes is necessarily the best thing to do, as demonstrated earlier in this race.
Currently, Mikel Biquet. Oh, Philippe Gauche has made it past Mikel Biquet. They're going along the straight with that damaged car. Mikel Biquet better be looking at that car and thinking, what the hell? Where's he getting that pace from?
Well, it just shows the commitment that Felipe Gauche does have. You know, bearing in mind, change new tires, we know that, but Biquet may not know. But if I can just bring your attention to the fight for the lead, this was a 4-car battle. Is there a 6-car fight for the lead?
Yep, we've just tuned in. Holy sugar, man. Kardauik, the previous leader of the race, is looking to get past his teammate Sandro Muller there, who's currently being evaluated. But yes, car number 96 makes it past Sandro. So, yep, the leader, previous leader of the race, looking to get back into it. And he's not far away either. Robert really needs to get that foot down if he wants to keep him behind him. But again, thinking back to the way Robert drives, he's a very good defensive driver, Alan. You know, he's got a few little tricks up his sleeve. But yeah, you can just see the pace difference there. 120.068.
Well, Matt Mollister has made a mistake going into turn 1, and is in result of that, he's losing 2. Maybe, oh, and they've tapped in the background. That's Matt Mollister just being sent round by Sandro Muller. I don't think the 26 BMW gave him enough room necessarily. And now he's going to lose a further position to the Vulcan Sim Racing car of Tom Mayo in the 288 Lamborghini. So it does seem like we have lost one driver to the lead pack, maybe even 2 if the if that 27 Porsche has gotten any damage. It doesn't look like they have. So it does look like now it is now just a 4-car fight for the lead.
Yeah, I've just seen on the race marshal's reports there that they seen the car number 96 flashing at the Next Level Racing car on the crest of turn 2, heading into the crest of turn 2, which obviously isn't a lapped car, so that flash shouldn't have been made. That's a couple of incidents that the race marshals have picked up from this number 96 from racework.com, which it isn't very good, to be honest, in a one race.
No, it's definitely not. He has made that pass on the 607 car now, so now he's directly behind the Turn 7 Racing green car of Christopher McDuff in the Lamborghini. Definitely, I would say by far the highest running Lamborghini. The only other one I believe in the top 10 is flashing again. As well. Yeah, and like I'm just hearing from the race marshals now, he has actually officially been given a direct warning on race control for car number 96 for flashing headlight. And while that was going on, if viewers may not have noticed, but he did make contact with Robert Taylor as well.
Yeah, there's only so much that the race marshals will let go, and quite clearly that was enough for the number 96. So he has been issued an official warning in the race for flashing his lights upon approaching cars. And you were saying there, Alan, that he made contact with Robert Taylor, is that right?
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to get past Christopher McDuff going
yeah,
into
he does make contact with Robert.
And then in doing so, he just brakes too late and has actually gone into the back of Robert Taylor. And all of this just coincides together that maybe he's trying to race a little bit too aggressively, maybe. Yep. Which, you know, obviously is something that, you know, if you want, we said about this earlier, if you want to race aggressive, then as long as it's clean, then, you know, aggressive driving is okay. But as long as it is clean, and by that stand, possibly by the looks of race marshals, that possibly they would look very down upon.
Yep, it's just went into the race marshal report as well. You have another look at that after the race. 96 contact into turn 8 with number 111 Robert Taylor. This guy is starting to rack up a little bit of incidents, Alan.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate to say. He's definitely very quick, and it's shown to why he is now running in the lead of this race. But as going to see, obviously, in each season, it's very rare that Turn 7 Racing does decide to do it. We did have one last season where we did give somebody a championship ban early on, and it was for exact same similar situations, such as what is happening right here with Cordowitz.
Yeah, someone actually got banned last week before the season even started in the pre-season race from the T7R championships.
Yeah, I do remember actually looking at the reports from the pre-season race, which was held at Spa. For those of you that I was obviously watching, it wasn't a broadcast, obviously, because you yourself, Colin, was in that race. Yep. I unfortunately could not participate in that race, but one driver was given a championship ban for misuse of driver comms.
Colin D. Campbell now catching Michael Biquet there. Collins is now in P14, so he's up 7 positions from his starting position. Bearing in mind, Colin was one of the drivers who pitted. No, he was one of the drivers who pitted under safety car, was he? I don't think he was.
Colin, I'm not quite so sure. Currently running P14, I believe he may have done. There was quite a large number of cars that all did pit in. I think it was just a few of the leaders that decided not to pit. And they pitted in, obviously, as the hour mark did break.
Yep, and he makes that nice pass there on Michael Biquet there. Very nicely done. Seems to be a favourite passing place, that Alan's along that straight going into turn 8 and 9 there. I've seen a lot of passes tonight through that section, which, to be fair, is probably the best passing section on Road Atlanta.
Yeah, see, it's definitely the best one. What you got to bear in mind is that you're setting up that pass from all the way back from the other end of the track. It's such a long straight, so there's so much time that you can make up just by slipstreaming somebody. We're just seeing it now. If you go a little bit more further back the field between Robert Taylor and Matt Monister, who are both recovering from their little spins from earlier on. So they're now having their own little fight just ahead of them from mile. But yeah, like that is the best overtaking opportunity that you have on the track. The only other major one that there is on the track is at turn 1, and you must get a good exit out of the final couple of turns.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's been an interesting race here, and we're still quite a bit to go actually. Yeah, I thought he stayed out Road Rally race. Cheers for that, mate. I knew it. Well, I didn't know. I was sure he did anyway.
It's a little bit like our little guy that is always in the pit lane, talking to all of the technical directors.
Yep.
You know, trying to get any updates really.
What an outstanding race though, Alan, the opening season. Oh my God.
Yeah, a lot of cars out on track today. 50 cars altogether. There has been. We have had some retirees across this race, unfortunately. We have had one safety car period for an incident in the middle of turn 12. But other than that, the race has been very, very cleanly, I would say, probably except for the last 5 minutes or so. That does concern our current race leader. For those of you that is just joining, we did have a safety car period. The majority of the field all decided to pit in, apart from a few select drivers, one of them being the number 96 Porsche of Thomas Kordowitz. He pitted in, came out in P6. He has now baked it back up to the lead, although some could say not necessarily.
Matt Money still looks to take Robert Taylor on here, and they're side by side up round turn 6 and 7. Matt has to give up though, he goes wide, ducks back in behind Robert, and carries on down the straight in his draft. Quite a wise decision there. Sorry to interrupt, Alan.
You're fine. But yeah, like apart from that, that's been our only safety car period. Matt Monacer is going for another move by the looks of it, and yeah, he gets the move done before even the turn. And directly behind them both is Jordan Weisby, who was another driver. He decided not to pit in under the safety car.
Yeah, these guys are starting to make their way back up through the field now. Matt Monister showing some really good pace here at Road Atlanta, Alan.
Yeah, like Matt Monister has been one of those type of drivers who seems fairly consistent, kind of up there. Oh, and Tom Mayles had an incident on the exit of turn 1. So that means some freebies have just been put there. I'm not exactly sure what's happened.
Let's
just go and have a
jump
look.
up and have a look at that. Oh, he just loses the back end on entry.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
horrible.
already lost the car in the turn 1,
Yeah.
which is a nasty way to go. Thankfully, he gets back onto track very cleanly, very quickly, and without getting in anybody else's way. So very quick, but a very good rejoin on top of that as well.
Yeah. And hey, Modulus Prime, how you doing? Can one of the moderators on the channel give Modulus Prime a little shout out, please?
While you say that, Jordan Weisby is now having a little fight with Robert Taylor going into the final chicane. Jordan has a tiny little bit of touch on the gas, but he's made the move stick. So Robert Taylor, around about 10-15 minutes ago, was in the lead. He's now down to P7.
This is ending up a really good race here, Alan, as we're within
P6.
10 minutes to go.
I've forgotten about the little incident with Tom Mayle. So Robert Taylor's now fallen down to P6. He has. So, but I will say, one driver who's done very, very well, especially in this race, Christopher McDuff, started P14, bear in mind. He's only 2 to 3 seconds behind Thomas Kordowitz at the moment in P2.
I mean, even though now we're starting to see some gaps opening back up, Alan, this is still an exciting race. There's still a lot happening out there on track. In fact, Jetson Ardenessence is looking to make a move on Jonas Greiner here going down the straight, and he looks to have that almost nailed. Oh, and he's
going to go around the outside. Yep. Can he make it sit, though? He's not going to get there. Oh, he squeezes Jonas Greiner there.
Nicely held, though. I mean, you know, he did squeeze him. But I don't think it didn't look like if there were any contact. But yeah, Jonas just dropping down there. 2 places.
Yeah, now Tom Mayle is who is that just overtaken? That's Tom Mayle. What is he doing all the way back there? I wonder if he's made another mistake.
Yep, he's just moved back up to P10 now. 2 cars in one section now, one sector of the track. Oh, there's a Porsche in the wall there, number 501. Sitting on the straight. Not sure who that is.
Yeah, that's Mika Hakala.
Why
That
is
is, I'm not exactly sure.
Is he requested tow?
He has just requested tow now, yes. But that is kind of in a dangerous area. But I don't think they want to really call for a safety car this late into the race.
Nah, there's only one car involved in that. I'm quite sure the race marshals will keep the race going. I mean, it's right over the other side of the pit wall. We could probably lift the car over without any incidents occurring.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure iRacing Physics will make sure of that.
Yeah. Get the crane out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
the leader's been off track. The leader has been off track.
Oh, yes, that's Thomas Kordowitz. And there goes Christopher McDuff into the lead.
Yep, let's have a look at that.
P14.
Oh, it's a bad one as well. Right off, and he looks like if he's going to hit the wall. He does make contact, but it's only a brush.
So how long is there left in this race?
I have absolutely no idea, but this is getting really exciting here.
There's only, I'd say, 4 more minutes of this race remaining. And this race for the lead is still up for grabs.
Yep. Kardowic's going to have to really focus now. He's going to have to be patient as well. We need to watch this. This is going to be interesting to see how this race finishes here for round 1 of the T7R Championship at Road Atlanta.
You know what this kind of race makes me think about?
What?
Go back to 2006 at the Hungarian Grand Prix with Jenson Button. How he won his first ever race. You know, Christopher McDuff started as far back as P14. This is possibly one of the most, if not the most competitive field we have ever seen. And from as far back as what he was at some point, he could be looking to, like, I'm hoping I'm not making a commentator's curse on this. But, you know, Christopher McDuff has shown, you know, how good of a driver he is. And he's now challenging for the lead of this race.
Yep, exactly. I mean, extremely proud to have him on board here at Turn 7 Racing as one of our team drivers, and he's certainly very skillful behind the wheel of that Lamborghini. But Kardowic's managed to catch him here, and they've got along the straight. There's another car in the wall there. It looks Thierry Raphael on the exit of Turn 7 there.
Yeah, he's got his car stuck.
And Kardowic's looking up the inside here, going into Turn 8. And he manages it. Chris just gives him it. Breaks a little early. But Chris will be looking to stick to the back of that car like glue. And I hope that he makes another mistake, because as we can see now, the leader's very partial to a mistake or two.
Yeah, and Chris was probably in his mind, was probably thinking that.
And he's just made
another mistake.
No way. He's just made the mistake we just spoke about there. And he's off into the wall this time, and he's dropping it down rapidly. Down into 5th, almost 6th. He is 6th now. He's dropped down a huge amount of positions there. Christopher McDuff will be breathing a huge sigh of relief there, because he's 5 seconds clear of Jeffrey Como with only a couple of minutes of this race left to go. Alan.
Yeah, this is very, very exciting, and I think that was what was going in Chris's mind, was that, you know, he's thinking very wise. He noticed that that Porsche did make a mistake just a couple of laps ago. He was thinking, if I can just put him under some psychological pressure, he may make that same mistake again. So it does question, does that Porsche's tyres just seem to have really fallen off the cliff?
It's certainly something there, because it was turn 1 both times that he went off. Maybe he's just pushing that little bit too hard. Alan, you know, I've no idea. This is the first time I've seen him race, so I don't know. You know, last lap is now on. You can see the race control there, waving the white flag. Last lap here at the T7R. Round 1 of the championship. Christopher McDuff only needs to hold it together for this lap, and he takes the checkered flag and wins the race here today.
And through all of that, from Thomas's 2 mistakes, he's now fallen back as far as P6. He's actually fallen behind Robert Taylor. Jordan Wiseby in P4, Matt Monisser in P3. We've got Jeffrey Commel, as you said, P2. It's driven a very comfortable race, but it's definitely not had it the easiest for him, but it just shows that he's a very good competitor. You know, driven with some of the best veteran drivers that we've got in this championship, especially in Robert Taylor. But Christopher McDuff, who would have thought an hour and a half ago, going into this race, we would be saying that Christopher McDuff is going to be today's winner.
Yep. Started P13 and is now about to take the checkered flag here for round 1 of the T7R championship. As we see him crossing the line there, absolute outstanding drive there from Christopher McDuff. Jeffrey Como crosses the line in second. Matt Moister coming down the hill there. Takes third place. Jordan Wiseby right behind. Yep. And everybody crossing the finish line now. What an outstanding opening race, Alan. Oh my God.
Definitely a very wild race. Definitely can give it to the drivers who just stay patient, waited for their moment, especially for Christopher McDuff. You know, it just goes to show, like, I would probably say, Christopher McDuff will probably be in the commentary booth soon, and he will say he was definitely not the quickest of drivers, but he was definitely the wisest.
It was consistent as well, the whole race. You know, he just kept his head. He kept, you know, like, I genuinely hope he joins the interview room and you know, we get a chance to speak with Christopher, because he drove an absolute outstanding race here today. So yeah, hoping he does. And yeah, I'm looking forward to interviewing him. As everyone else is crossing the finishing line here to end this outstanding 90 minutes race here at Road Atlanta for the Turn 7 Racing Championship. Christopher McDuff just entering the pit lane there, as you can see, to finish his race. Outstanding drive there from the guys. What a race, Alan.
Yeah, definitely a very, very good race. Some a lot of action, and that is what you're going to get with 50 cars all together. But you know, given the fact of who our race winner is, I definitely wouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't have put money on it, but we'll speak to Chris. I'm excited to get him in. But let's have a rundown through of the official finishing positions here. And need I say it, Christopher McDuff from Turn 7 Racing Green takes the checkered flag and wins here at Road Atlanta, round 1 of the T7R Championship for Season 4. Off to an absolute outstanding start of the season. And Jeffrey Como takes second. Matt Monisser in third. Jordan Wiseby fourth. Robert Taylor fifth, who was unfortunately punted going into turn 8, which the race marshals are having a look into from Thomas, who finished behind him in number 96 car from racework.com. Sandro Muller in 7th, Philippe Gosha in 8th, Matthew Worrell 9th, 10th, Jensen Arderescence 11th, Jonas Greiner, Colin D. Campbell in 12th, Simon Ball P13, Eero Forsblom P14, P15 is Tom Mail, Mikael Buquet in 16th, Paul Kerry finishes 17th, who had a good start to the race but fell away a little bit and dropped down a few positions all at the one time mid-session there. Bruno Guedes there in P18. Nelson Samoa's 19th. George Pinino in 20th. Nuno Vinagre 21st. Als Dunbeck there in 22nd. Ola Sankovic 23rd. Nigel Stock 24th, Bruno Albino 25th, Terry Raphael in 26th, Alan Morles 27th, Moa Shack in 28th, Ian McDuff 29th, Rui Felipe Pinino in 30th, Rasmus Greiner 31st, 32nd, Roberto Mota, 33rd is Ernesto El Marici, 34th is Amber Doggenbot, 35th is Mika Hakala, Bjorn Arslag in 36th, 37th Vincent Van Dam, 38th Stephen McCafferty, Robert Odoms in 39th, 40th Nuno Mososa, Sander Kafa in 41st, Marcus Buheller 42nd, John Dobarts 43rd, Johan Helbroff 44th, George Abbott 45th, 46th Dara Dressens, Matt Bix 47th, 48th Kevin Poen, 49th Gregio Caridi, Jonas Seger in 50th, and Alan Day wasn't racing. Let's have a look at the pro standings. Starting from P1. Christopher McDuff finishes in the lead there for the pro class. Jeffrey Commel second, Matt Moinster third, Jordan Wisby fourth, Robert Taylor fifth, Thomas Kardowik in sixth, Philip Gosha seventh, Matthew Worrell eighth, Jonas Greiner 9th, Colin D. Campbell 10th, Simon Ball 11th, Eero Forsblom 12th, Tom Mill 13th, Mikael Baquet 14th, 15th Paul Kerry, 16th Bruno Guedes, 17th George Pirino, Nuno Vinagre in 18th. And let's have a look at Pro Am. Jensen Arderesens wins for the Pro Am class. Nelson Simoes second, Als Dunbeck in third, Ola Sankovic fourth, Bruno Albino fifth, Terry Raphael sixth, Alan Morles seventh, Ian McDuff eighth, Rui Felipe Pinino in ninth, Roberto Mota in 10th, Ernesto El Marici in 11th, Amber in 12th, Mika Hakala in 13th, Vincent Van Dam 14th, Jon Dobarts 15th, and 16th is George Abbott. And the AM class, finally. Not many of these to go through. Nigel Stock takes the win. Mo Shack takes second. Steve McCafferty third. Robert Odoms fourth. Nuno Mososa fifth. Marcus Bohella sixth. Oh, what an outstanding race. Right, let's go on with the interview, Alan. If you want to start it, I'll bring Christopher McDuff up now. Good evening, Christopher. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm all right.
How was that race?
I think we all are, to be honest. A massive congratulations to you, Chris, for the outstanding win today. Started P14. First win of the season, obviously, for you, obviously, given that's the first round of the season. Starting P14, starting obviously a hour and a half ago. Did you even think that a win was a possibility?
I knew I could get top 5, but definitely didn't think I could get a win. My qualifying is always terrible, so when I qualify kind of low, I don't really mind. I kind of enjoy it, to be honest. It gives me a few cars to fight past and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's definitely shown that. Coming to towards the end of the race, obviously we had the car number 96 of Thomas Kardowitz. Obviously, he was one of the few drivers that didn't pit in. When he did eventually pit in, he wasn't too far behind you. He was P6, coming up towards a 5-car field, which included yourself and Robert Taylor and Matt Monister. When he came past all of you, then he made that first mistake going into turn 1. So yours quite close with him. He then overtakes you for the lead about maybe a lap later. Did you try and challenge him for the position, or did you just let him by, knowing that he's already been in trouble with race marshals by this point already for flashing headlights? And were you thinking maybe he was just going to make another mistake all on his own, or was it just a matter of you just didn't want to be in a fight with him because of what he's shown on the track already?
Nah, so I was running a lot higher wing than the likes of Robert Taylor and himself, and so any car that was behind me, there was no point in letting them stay behind because they would just catch me on the straight. So if I could get in their draft, I could catch them and get a better run out of the last chicane. So that was pretty much my game plan. Obviously, he made 2 mistakes and it cost him in the end. But if he didn't make any mistakes, he would have probably ran away with it.
Yeah, Chris. Yeah, I mean, for me, you drove an outstanding race. It was, like we'll probably call you this season's cat so far. You just kind of snake up on people, if you know what I mean.
After my mistake, I thought the win was, or the top 5 was nowhere near sight, and then obviously the safety car came out, so kind of helped me. But
yeah. So yeah, like it was extremely fun to watch you silently coming up through the field. It was a good battle. You were pretty much with Robert the whole race, I would say. You were there or thereabouts around his vicinity. And to see you driving the way you did today, I just want to say congratulations, and you deserve the win, mate. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
well done on that. Anything else you want to say, Alan?
I'll probably say one thing. Obviously, I know obviously you drove the Lamborghini last season. You seem to handle it very well. I would probably say one of the few things obviously coming into this season that some drivers was obviously majority of drivers looking to the Porsche. Some drivers were looking to the BMW. Some drivers been saying that the BMW was looked to be the strongest car out of 8 GT3 cars. Bearing in mind there's 8 GT3 cars that you can choose for this season. What made you actually choose the Lamborghini above the other 7 GT3 cars? Was it just something that you was more used to, so you knew more naturally how it drove, or was
I'm
it
just
just
comfortable in it. There wasn't really a point in risking taking the likes of a Porsche, because I'd probably just be facing the wrong way for most of the race. So I just picked what I was comfortable with last season and try and perfect how I drive in it. Still not there yet, but it's still a long way to go.
Yeah. Can I ask you one more question, Christopher?
Yep.
Why the hell do you race in a farmer's jacket?
Puts off the drivers in front, clearly.
Yeah. Anyway, congratulations, mate. Awesome race, and I'll speak to you shortly.
Yep. Thank you.
No worries, mate. See you next week.
Yep. See you.
And we'll get Robert Taylor in next. Good evening, Robert.
Good evening.
It was a up and down race for yourself today, Robert. Can you just talk us through what you were thinking going in? I know you did state early on that a top 10 would be a victory for yourself, never mind a race win. But first of all, let's start at the start of the race and just talk us through your thoughts of coming into the race tonight.
So like the grid, the quality of the grid has gone up this season, and there's a lot of quick guys out there. So we've had to be realistic with targets. Going into qualifying, I wanted top 15, and I set myself a target of trying to be the top Merc in sort of a little private battle with Simon. So we hit both targets in qualifying. Then going into the race, it was push for a top 10. If I got a top 10, that was going to be set for the day. I want to say a big apology to Michael Piquet. I'm not too sure what happened at the start, but after we got the green, there was a huge checkup, and I just tapped the back of his bumper, and I seen him spin off. So I'm really sorry to him for that. But yeah, after we actually got going, it was keep the car straight. We're back in a car that I feel comfortable with again. Obviously, last season wasn't my best, so we're back in a car I feel comfortable and I can race people with. So we just got our head down and worked our way up before the safety car. I think we was in 7th and had a 10-second lead over 8th place. So it was going well.
Yeah, I mean, when that safety car came in, we saw you jumping for the pit lane. There were quite a few of you that done it, and it seemed to work for you. Obviously when the pit stops come back round, you took the lead of the race. Can you talk us through what was going through your mind at that point?
On the first, as soon as the safety car comes out, obviously everybody's the same thing. We're all running numbers in our head. Is there enough room in the tank? to get the fuel drop in so we can make it to the end. And it was just enough with the slightly shortened race, because we were going to lose a lap on the race at least. It was a no-brainer to pit, and it's not the case of some of us thought of it and others didn't. Unfortunately, I think the top 5 or 6 drivers had the pit lane closed sign still up even when we all pitted, which obviously kind of hampered them a little bit. I did hear Christopher said in the sort of green room before we came in here, even though it said it was closed, he pitted anyway, just assuming that it would be open because it should be, and he didn't get a penalty for it. So that's one to maybe people to think of if it is a case of that, because that kind of ruined a few, like the top 5's race. I mean, I never would have been battling up for the lead. Those guys up the front are seriously quick. When we got the lead, though, obviously, you know me, we're going to fight for it, and we're going to do everything we can to try and hold on to it. And then we just get an absolute punt from behind. I mean, myself, Christopher, Matt Minister, a blue Porsche, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name. We've been racing together bumper to bumper for best part of an hour, and there wasn't a single touch between us. We were swapping positions. There was nothing between us on the track, but never contact. And then someone just comes steaming down the inside from a mile back. The move was never on, and just drills the back of me, and the back end of the car was crap after. No. So we dropped back.
That was car number 96. Race Control has got it noted. He has been noted actually for a few incidents during the race, so we're going to be looking into his driving in the meeting on Sunday, I think it is. So yeah, we're going to be the Race Control will be looking into that as well, Robert. Just to let you know about that.
Yeah, I mean that's the only downside I've got for the race. I mean, other than that, the driving standard was absolutely phenomenal from everybody else that I've seen. And I want to give a big shout out as well to all of those that were in traffic after that safety car restart, because it was a really difficult situation, both the cars going through the traffic and the guys being lapped. Everybody was mixed up in order, and I ain't got a bad word to say about any one of them. They were brilliant with the way they managed it, and I don't know for the whole field, but for everything I seen, there wasn't anything wrong with the way the traffic was. And in a tricky situation like that, it's really good to see that everybody conducted themselves well, even though, I mean, we were trying to fight positions whilst lapping people, and everybody survived and it was just brilliant.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, mate. It's the best opening race Turn 7 racing has ever had.
I say it's one of the best races we've ever had. With a grid that big, with the driving standards as it was, like I say, from my point of view is all I can comment. With the exception of that one incident, it was amazing driving. I mean, I was battling with guys all race long pretty much. The respect shown.
Yeah.
Roll on the rest of the season.
Yeah, I hope the standards stay up there. Alan, you anything you want to ask Robert?
Yeah, one driver in particular he was having a battle with for a fair while. One of our new drivers, the 607 Porsche that you said about that you couldn't remember, Jeffrey Colmel. Very, very intriguing and a very hard fought battle between the both of you for a fair length of time, I would say. Obviously, this is a brand new season, so obviously we're getting in new drivers. Obviously, you're a driver that has pretty much driven near enough every single race that Turn 7 Racing has done the GT3 championship on. Jeffrey Comel, this is his first major race apart from his evaluation. Do you have anything particular to say from your battle that you had with Jeffrey at all?
Just echoing what I've already said, the standards were great. It was a good, clean fight with him. Obviously, I didn't know anything about him, never raced against him before. He's the same for me. He's not going to know anything about what I'm like. He tried a few little cheeky looks and tried to see if I'm going to make a mistake or if he could scare me off the road. He's probably going to know better that ain't going to work with me anymore. He's tried a couple of moves down the outside and things, but I know where to place the car. And as long as someone races me clean, it'll be a hard battle. And if you get past me, you're going to have earned it. but it'll be a fair battle, and that's what we want. I'm not going to get mugged. I mean, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been him actually, where up the top end we went side by side. I had to set the move up going into the first of the double right-handers before the back straight, and I was on the outside for both corners just so I could get the lead up to the final chicane on the inside, because I knew I could do him on the brakes. So he gave me the respect. I thought it was him, but yeah, whoever it was, they gave the respect, and we've seen, and that's good hard racing. Won us, as long as it's fair. You don't mind losing to somebody as long as you've lost early.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Robert, congratulations anyway in finishing in 5th, up 8 positions from your starting position, and we'll speak to you again really soon.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one.
You too. So, Alan, sum this race up in just a few words.
Electrifying, entertaining.
All right. That was just a few words. So yeah, guys, we're going to take you into some replays of the race while we now go and raid someone. So please hang around for the raid. Give the person a follow. Thanks very much for everyone tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed the race. Yes, and we will see you again next week or whenever I'm live. Feel free to drop in and see me race as well. Also, I'd like to say as well, make sure you give Alan Day a little follow as well, who also streams. He's currently in the commentary box right now. If one of the mods can give him a little shout out during the raid, that would be appreciative. But until then, guys, thanks very much for tuning in tonight. This has been Turn 7 Racing. This has been the GT3 Championship, Round 1 at Road Atlanta.